cool. Oh,
So
whoa, check this out.
is the map.
Nice.
This is huge. This
Oh
is
my
new,
God.
and this gives you kind of a look at the area and everything you can do in this area.
Oh, that's so cool.
Hello, Guardians, and hello, Justin.
Hi, Zach.
I have a lot of new Destiny 2 footage for us.
I'm
to
very
take a look
excited
at.
to see this footage.
So I got a chance to head up to Bellevue, where our friends at Bungie are located, and spent, gosh, I think about 6 hours playing Destiny 2.
I'm so jealous. Is this that European dead zone I've heard so much about?
So yes, so this is the European Dead Zone. This is one of the kind of like patrol zones or explorable areas. This is kind of the first one that opens up in the game, and so this is what we're going to be checking out today. Around 25 minutes of footage here, showing off a lot of things that you can do.
Bungie once again showing off their environmental design prowess.
Oh my gosh, I mean, it is, the game is beautiful, right? As anyone who played the open beta last month saw, like, it is stunning.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off here. We're going to head up to meet Mr. Devrim Kay.
Oh, okay.
So each of kind of the main zones, from my understanding, have a kind of a lead NPC. And so Devrim is kind of the main NPC for the EDZ.
Okay.
He is a sniper.
He's A-okay.
He's A-okay.
I've heard quite a few new voices over the comms lately. Hawthorne says we have you to thank for that. It's a good thing, too. While you were gallivanting about the system, matters got a bit sticky here in the dead zone. If you've got a moment, we have plenty of things that need doing.
Interesting.
So he's kind of the overseer of the zone. You can see he's got some stuff that you can buy if you want, and then he also has a reputation. So there are a bunch of activities that you can do in these zones, and as part of the reward for them, as well for kind of exploring the space, you can get these EDZ tokens and these little dust-like things that you can turn into him, increase your reputation, you get a nice fancy engram.
Oh,
So
whoa, check this out.
This is the map.
Nice.
This is huge. This
Oh
is
my
new,
God.
and this gives you kind of a look at the area and everything you can do in this area.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I wanted something like this so badly in Destiny 1.
Yep, well, now they have delivered. And not only have they given you a map, but they've put in a ton of things on there. So we're going to check out most of these today, but kind of the first big thing that is completely new to these zones are what are called adventures. First of all, you can see a public event timer, by the way, Justin. How about that?
Yeah, thank goodness.
So adventures are, I guess you can think of them as side quests, sort of. The story team at Bungie kind of described them saying that, like, if the campaign is a novel, and kind of the story that you're experiencing in the campaign is kind of this like big, robust, story that takes place over multiple chapters.
Yeah.
Adventures are short stories. So these are kind of like self-contained little adventures that still have characters and VO, and you learn more about the world and about the characters. Devrim's speaking to you a lot through most of them, but you can pick them up just kind of anywhere in the world. And one thing that is interesting, I did a little edit there, took a little detour on the map, but one thing that's interesting is that when you first go to this zone, there's kind of a certain set of adventures that are available to you, but as the campaign progresses, as the story goes on, other ones kind of open up,
cool.
corresponding to light level. So we can run over to, try not to judge my shooting abilities too harshly.
Oh, and I see that next to the enemy name, it has an icon next to them. I assume that shows like what race they are. So that's like the Fallen insignia.
Yeah, I think it's also. So here's another thing that's new. These are high-value targets.
Oh, nice.
So these are kind of new elite enemies that are positioned throughout the world. You can see when they're nearby, there's going to be a little piece of text that pops up on screen at the bottom that says like a high-value target has landed nearby.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
So there you go.
Nice.
Pick that guy out. And when you kill him, you see a high-value target has dropped his plunder. So there you go.
So cool. Oh, that is rad.
A little chest.
Turn that into some sweet, sweet reputation.
Exactly. And this as well, Dusklight chart. So this is another thing that I can turn in for reputation. It seems like it's not, as far as I can tell, so there's a lot of things, Justin, by the way, that I can't really talk about yet.
Okay,
Other things that I played.
Yeah.
But as far as I can tell, that the sole purpose of that is to increase your reputation.
Cool. I'm gonna pry you for details on the stuff that you can't talk about after we're finished. Recording.
Well, all in due time, Justin. We're only a couple weeks away from launch here.
I can't believe it's almost time for Destiny 2 already. Oh,
I know.
I'm so psyched.
To put this Cabal communications cipher to use.
The Red Legion fighting the Fallen for a change. Great idea. I can extract archived audio transmissions from any Fallen in the area.
Nolan North returning as the Ghost.
Of course, and I'm not sure who the actor is for Devrim Kay, but I really like the performance.
Nice.
Already, I mean, you can tell that kind of some of the new characters I met in this zone, you know, they have kind of I suppose, a tone and a quality to the writing that's very reminiscent of some of the stuff that we saw with the Taken King.
Ah,
and how that kind of introduced us to
did you log back in and do any of the Age of Triumph stuff when that all got booted up?
Sadly, I did not.
Oh, man.
I completed my year 1 book.
Oh,
so
nice.
I did that
So
before. I guess was that Taken King? Or
That
was
should get you some rewards in Destiny 2.
Oh, good.
They had some stuff where if you went in and accomplished certain milestones in Destiny 1, those would translate into some rewards that you'll get in Destiny 2.
Right. I'm sure that you know,
Pretty
once Destiny
convincing
2
Fallen
starts up and I
impression.
see you running around with
Don't
your
mention
emblem, I'm gonna have
accents
major
around
FOMO.
but
that's okay.
Meantime,
I should say, by the way, I'm playing as the Warlock.
Yeah.
So I'm playing as the new Warlock subclass, which is the
Dawnblade, I believe.
okay,
Dawnblade.
Dawnblade, right. So this is kind of the fire-driven subclass for the Warlock.
Nice. Did it feel so? You and I have seen and played this game in various states over the past few months. We were at the Destiny 2 gameplay reveal event in LA, and then there was the beta recently. Does this feel much different to you based on what we've played over the past few months?
So in some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. And there's going to be a write-up on the
can't believe
PlayStation
we have to
blog,
go
by the
back
way, at
into
the
the
same time
mines
this
again.
video's up, so you can go kind of read more
Chin
about my
up, you
thoughts.
two.
But it didn't feel too different from what we had played back in May or at E3. As far as kind of the gunplay and the class abilities go, I know that there's been kind of a lot of changes that Bungie has made based on feedback from the beta.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't want to speak too much to some of the changes there. Obviously, you know, those are kind of differences, more subtle differences I suppose affect some of the sandbox elements. But the thing that did feel really different is that, you know, we played a campaign mission, right? We played the first campaign mission. It's the same one that's in the beta, and we played the multiplayer. And so I think you and I both felt like, I should say, based on my experience here in the EDZ, exploding barrels have play a big role in Destiny 2, which I am a huge fan of.
I was going to say, I see a lot of red barrels. You know what to do with those in video games.
Indeed. You know, the campaign mission I think we both kind of thought was awesome and unlike anything in Destiny 1.
Yeah.
And the multiplayer, they make some really smart tweaks. But this was the first time that I actually felt like I saw kind of like the connective tissue in Destiny, which is so much of what the Destiny experience is, right? I mean, how much time did you spend kind of, you know, teaming up with friends and exploring the world and everything like that? And so everything here that we're doing in the EDZ, like even though there are kind of maybe a few moments that seem familiar from public events, it feels totally new, and it feels like there's kind of a richness and a depth to these worlds that just wasn't super there in Destiny 1. So that, I think, kind of, I guess kind of those connective tissue or those moments in between the campaign missions did feel really different and really striking.
Yeah. And based on the new director, they've said that they're going to minimize the time that you have to spend going to orbit and like transporting between places and all that. Does it feel? It seems like they're just trying to make the game a lot more seamless.
No doubt, there is. It is shocking how going to orbit really is not necessary anymore, from what I can tell. Because that map that we checked out earlier, you activate that by essentially just holding up the ghost, kind of the same way that you would maybe go to orbit. But now, not only does it have kind of the local destination map that shows all of kind of the different objectives you can do there, but it shows all the planets that you can fly to.
Nice.
So you can go directly to any of the other planets straight from there without going to orbit. And yes, that is a small tweak and one that you're like, hey, you guys could have done that in the first game. But it's amazing that just removing that small amount of friction really makes the game so much more.
It's a quality of life adjustment, and it seems like this game has a lot of those quality of life improvements.
Totally. When you talk to Mark and Luke on the Destiny team, we heard a lot about how they're trying to reduce the amount of time between what you're doing and kind of the next fun thing you're doing. Yeah. Trying to just kind of collapse those moments in between those, like all the fun you're having, and it really feels like they've done that. So this was fun. This was set up an ambush to call out some of the Red Legion here.
I'm waiting for you to pop that super.
I am the worst at Destiny as far as just like holding on to my super for way too long.
Oh, nice.
But you can see it, like, I mean, it seems small, but some really kind of fun mission design.
Yeah, that was really cool. You get some good shots with that hand cannon.
Thank you. And of course, the hand cannon was equipped with one of my favorite perks, the Outlaw ability you saw pop up on screen. Those headshots turn into very fast reloads.
You would think these guys would know that red lasers are bad.
Maybe they are colorblind. They are called the Red Legion. Maybe there's kind of some...
Yeah, maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe deep Destiny lore.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Yeah, so this is still that same adventure that we...
This is all the same adventure. So,
nice.
It's taken us to a couple of different environments. It has, a few different stages. So they do feel, I mean, some of them seem to feel about as, beefy as some of the Destiny 1's kind of original campaign missions.
Yeah, I was going to say it feels kind of like a mini strike, just like a really seamless, like strike mission without having to load into anything.
Absolutely. And, the great thing you can do there is, like, you don't need to, it's not like I had to go up to Devrim to get him to assign this to me.
Yeah.
This was something that I just saw on the map. I tracked it, I ran over there and I activated it.
Huh.
And I don't even need to do the tracking thing. Like if I'm just kind of running around killing folks and then I see that little beacon set up there that triggers adventures, I just run up to that, activate that, and immediately it guides me to the next adventure.
Nice. Yeah, it seems like it really is kind of delivering on the promise of the patrol kind of ideology.
Definitely. And, patrols, like they were in Destiny 1, are still there, but they're not even on the map. They're far and away kind of the smallest amount of thing that you can do in these worlds. So let's go check out something else. Maybe we can go check out a public event. So
fast travel.
Fast travel.
Oh!
So yes, not only is there kind of the main area that you can land in, but there are multiple fast travel points set up throughout these worlds. And
Nice.
and I don't know, we didn't necessarily get into how exactly big each of these zones are, but they felt much bigger than a lot of the patrol zones in Destiny 1. And maybe it's the fact that you can always bring up your map and see exactly where you are in the geography that helps out.
Yeah, I mean, being able to fast travel, such a simple addition to the game. Even just having a map and being able to see all that stuff, this is already just getting me even more pumped for this game.
Totally. Now, Justin, what were your feelings on public events in Destiny 1?
I liked doing them, but I felt like they were so random and so few and far between that you would only ever get like 2 or 3 people in them. So I think that having them pop up on the map and be more visible there will lead to increased activity, make it easier for people to find them and predict them and go away from them.
Totally. Yeah, that was my feelings as well. Like they were fun for sure, but some of my most frustrating moments in Destiny 1 were kind of running around waiting for an event to happen.
Yeah.
No longer. Now you know when an event is happening nearby, and you know events that are upcoming based on a handy little timer displayed on the map here.
Nice.
So this is obviously a fallen-driven public event.
This looks really cool. They even designed this little area that is perfectly suited for this type of activity.
Yep. So one of the coolest things about public events, aside from just making them easier to find and easier to access, is that there are now hidden objectives that can lead to a heroic version of a public.
What?
So this is entirely new in Destiny 2. There are now heroic public events.
Oh.
And so I think I triggered this here, but I don't exactly know how. So basically there are things that you can do that are not messaged at all to the player that kind of upgrade the public event. So there you go, joined a heroic event. I don't know how that happens, but as far as I can tell, you can only learn about these through experimentation and through kind of.
It looks like maybe that one was killing all the ads or something.
Yeah, maybe killing all like the support servitors started up there. Unfortunately, they were not very happy and teleported me up there, and
good use
now
of the. Oh man!
Alas,
I was gonna say like you like recovered from it.
Yeah, not so much. But yeah, so okay, so I died a lot here. So in the interest of time, let's fast forward.
Very wise.
But yeah, so heroic public events, you can do certain hidden objectives. It upgrades them, and it adds typically like maybe a new boss or a new elite enemy that you have to take out. It becomes substantially more difficult. But of course, if you can defeat that heroic public event, then you get an even better reward. You know?
Nice.
At the end of regular public events, chests appear now, but I think there's an extra special chest that appears if you complete the heroic public event.
Oh, that is so cool.
So that is amazing. And some of the other ones that I saw that we don't really show here, they use some gameplay mechanics that are kind of reminiscent of some of the things that you're doing in raids. So I think part of it is maybe to help train you for experimentation in that way.
Oh, nice.
So let's look at some other things on the map here. There are a couple other two small icons there that are not trackable. These are things that are called regional chests, which are what I'm going for here, and then lost sectors.
Okay.
So regional chests are represented by those kind of 4 little corners there. And these are chests that are just hidden throughout the world, that are kind of marked on your map, but they can be marked in maybe deceiving ways. So for this one, I had to kind of poke around, do some platforming, and aha, there the
look
chest
at that.
is.
It's a gold chest.
There you go. And it has that icon on there as well. So not necessarily a ton of gameplay around there, but
Cool.
just kind of furthers, kind of motivates you to explore those worlds, to peek into those doors and those corners that you might not have otherwise.
I'm glad that it gave you those tokens too, something that could actually be useful. I remember in Destiny 1, if you found the gold chest after you were already leveled up, you still got those like base level early game rewards and just scrap them immediately.
Exactly. So now there's a lot more of those gold chests, and they're marked on the map there. So the other thing is lost sectors. I had some trouble finding this one, so in the interest of time, we'll fast forward a little bit. But lost sectors are these kind of hidden areas that are not immediately visible, kind of just running around the world, that hide elite enemies and large chests. So they require a lot of exploration, kind of a shocking amount, actually. Like, I never would have poked around this area. Like, there's this whole drainage area that is under this map that I never would have known unless I'd known to look for a lost sector here. But this is not the chest, by the way. We're still getting there. But each lost sector is kind of guarded by a named enemy. Yeah, that's nice, right? Green shader, though. I mean, come on. A named enemy that is next to a chest. The chest cannot be opened unless you defeat the named enemy and get their cache codes.
Okay.
So it says here on the map, lost sector discovered. Cool. And it felt like in Destiny 1 there were kind of perhaps some areas that were somewhat built out, but there wasn't really anything there.
Yeah.
So lost sectors feel like they fulfill that promise in my mind. These are substantial areas that feel really cool to discover, and again, some of them are really hard to find. Like, even though there are indicators on the map, a lot of them are not obvious at all. Like, I had to poke around quite a bit, running around where the map is to find maybe where the entrance is to this area.
So I'm still shocked that everything we're doing here is just part of the patrol.
Yep, this is all content outside the main campaign. So there's finally found it. I do a little fade out there. Yeah, so there's named enemy. This is kind of the final room here. But yeah, I mean, all this stuff is really fun. I had a great time just kind of running around in this area. I spent several hours and did not run out of things to do.
Nice to see the swords are back.
Oh yeah. And again, one of the things, sadly, I cannot show you, Justin, I know you want to ask, is kind of the inventory screen to see some of the sweet stats on this stuff. Sadly, I can't show that just yet.
Okay. Oh, we don't have too much longer to wait.
Exactly. I will say that I got to create this character and level him up to level 20 here, and I feel so that is one of the new abilities, right? You hold circle for anyone that played the beta. Yeah, healing rift. It's amazing how much that changes my gameplay style as someone that tends to use support classes. I chose the Warlock because I did not, I main a Titan, and so, I wanted to save a little bit of that. But
yeah, take some of the support utility that the Titan had in Destiny 1 and transfers it to, I think, a character that makes more sense to have that kind of ability.
It seems like it, right? Like, I mean, so there you see I defeated an enemy, cash codes acquired.
Stole keys.
Stole keys. Well, I think we're wrapping up here in a little bit. Justin, any kind of other questions or anything else?
I mean, I have a lot of questions. I don't think you're going to be able to answer most of them. But
I'm happy to tell you no.
I am really excited at the prospect of patrols in Destiny 2. It looks like they're far more fleshed out, lots more to do rather than just kind of running around killing stuff, doing patrol missions here and there. I'm really excited to just kind of hang out here with my friends and cruise around and do some adventures and check out some lost sectors.
Yep.
It looks like they've really made this a much more worthwhile experience.
Totally. And even stuff that isn't kind of necessarily progression driven or anything. There are a bunch of scannable kind of lore elements hidden throughout the world here, throughout these zones that you just stumble on by exploring. And again, I think that Bungie's kind of done a really good job of adding stuff in there to really get people to actually explore and to poke at the seams and see where the game takes you. So let's level up here. Hey, there we go.
Nice.
Finally, let's see some rewards here.
Wait, do you get to pick?
No.
Oh, you're just previewing the potential
I think this
contents
is
here.
the potential stuff here. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, this is the European Dead Zone.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
exploring it for just a little bit. But yeah, Destiny 2 out September 6th on PS4 and PS4
so
Pro.
soon, I can't wait.
I cannot wait. Have you blocked out your PTO time yet, Justin?
I need to do that before you get to it.
Well, let's. You might be too late, actually.
We'll figure it out.
It's a shame it happens right after Labor Day, right? 3-day weekend right there.
Man. We'll take this conversation offline.
Exactly. There you go. So, Destiny 2 for Justin Mescal. I am Zach Miner. See you next time.
PlayStation